Well, if you read the paper this week, David Fuornes predicted that the Dolphins would win 30-13. They would absolutely dominate. Mike McDaniel would call a hell of a game. Achane would have nearly 200 yards. They would get 3 sacks. They would befuddle Josh Allen. They would force him into 2 game-crippling turnovers. Great job by you, David.
Thank you. Of course, I love taking credit for things that never happened and I never did say. The most I can take credit for is I would at least maybe throw out there I wouldn't be entirely surprised if this happened to be the time where something like this happened. But yes, my official score prediction, because I can't just play both sides of the fence, my official score prediction was really for it to go almost entirely the other way. It was Bills 31, Dolphins 16, and it ended up being a 30-13 win for Miami. Shocking.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I expected a slaughter. I did. I expected a slaughter, and we got completely the opposite. They played just a complete game, dude. Just a complete game, a well-coached game by Mike McDaniel. He actually used the running game. I was so proud of him at the end when that third run ended up becoming a touchdown by Achane, but the idea was force him to use that last time out, dude. Just go through it, stay with it. Stay with your wingman, as they would say in Top Gun. So I love that he coached well. Weaver, he's been turning the corner for several weeks now. His defense, it was just a really good game overall, dude. Really fun.
Yeah. And this team really, you're seeing how effective they can be when they're playing with a lead. So I think if you establish it early, because 2 of the last 3 games that you saw the Dolphins play some of their best football, most complete, complementary football, and it's a matter of getting ahead early so that then and that helps you not get away from the run game, which the Dolphins can be effective in that regard. Especially that's where the Bills are vulnerable. So that's why you had a big game from Achane. And by the end of this game, when the Bills, now, yes, it's November, but still it was hot and humid out there, especially for them coming from Buffalo, where it's snowing over there right now. So that's a huge difference. It might be more effective now when it's the difference of going from a high of 86 here, you go into that after you're leaving the snow in Western New York. That might be more impactful than if it's like September and it's kind of like they're getting some heat over there, but and then you still go into the heat, even though it's more amplified early in the season here. So it's really tough to keep up with Devon Achane after you're not used to these conditions, and then all of a sudden you have to tackle a man that fast when you're just like dragging yourself by the end. So that's what I did like that the Dolphins did play physical, go to the run game, and then it's tough on a defense coming in here to then have to keep up with Achane in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, dude. And again, they ran the ball really well. Brunskill's making blocks on his knees. I mean, that was just awesome. Did you see that block by Brunskill on his knees?
I might have missed exactly. I saw he was in plenty, but the specific play, I might have been writing or something.
No, it's still there. I guess he wasn't following it on Twitter there. I posted it on Twitter.
Okay, yeah.
And there it is. Look at Achane going right past him. Brunskill, you can see that play. He falls, and he has the quickness to get up on his knees to lay the block that he knows he has to lay in order to make that play work. And there's Achane going right past him. That's Brunskill on his effing knees making a block, dude.
I'm going to go find that one right now on your page here.
Yeah,
I see it. A still shot.
You got to see the play. It's impressive how he has the wherewithal to slip, fall, and get up and make that play still to help that run work. Just a hell of an effort. Everybody just played well, dude. Everybody played well overall. Good. We saw the deep ball with Waddle. It was a nice touchdown to Washington. I didn't like the 2 deep ball decisions by Tua, because if it's a Rondé, if it's Randy McMichael, if it's what's it called, Gesicki, if it's Waller, if you give me a big body with 2 guys down there, I'll take that chance. I'll throw that ball, but not with a midget receiver. When you throw small guys and there's two guys out there or three, you're not going to win that one. So I didn't like it. I know they end up beating punts, so it doesn't really hurt to see. Just thought those were ones that you're better off throwing it away and punting than making that, because that could turn into an ugly play.
Yeah, no, I mean, in the moment for both of those interceptions, I was kind of like, long punt, long. It was 3rd and long. It's a low percentage conversion anyway. A lot of times you see teams just like run the football or throw a safe screen because they're just going to punt on the next play anyway. So it was something that Mike McDaniel even said after the game. He was trying to just get to it, to go ahead and take those shots, and not worry so much that if they do get picked.
Send Cedric, send Ikini, send
Sure.
somebody with size at least that gives you a chance at the highest point. You know what I'm saying? Waddle is not going to. He's not Mark Clayton. I'm sorry. I know you know the name, but Mark. Okay, so Mark Clayton was like 5'10", but he played like he was a 6'4" receiver because he could sky up there, and he had great body strength. He could squat like 500 pounds and stuff. Mark Clayton was a freak of all freaks.
Okay.
So I understand you trying that because Marino used to do it with Clayton all the time. But or Chris Chambers, which is your era.
Yeah.
Chris Chambers. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. If you're going to run that play, run it with somebody that you can high point with. That's not Waddle's game. It's just not.
Low key, I kind of think of Tyreek Hill when you're saying that Clayton was able to leg press so much, squat so much, and could get his shorter receiver, but that he could sky up for a ball. I feel like we have seen Tyreek Hill do that just with his athletic ability. But
nothing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I didn't live this era, so you tell me.
When Clayton was on, it was only Jerry Rice above him.
Wow,
that's it. Okay. Clayton was a badass, dude.
Yeah.
A bad mofo. He had body control. He had hands like vice grips. No, man. No. Clayton was a freak. Clayton was a whole different. But my point is, if you're going to throw it downfield, Oronde wasn't fast, but it didn't matter. You just threw, as long as you high pointed it where he was going to be at, you had a shot. You know what I mean? And that's my only hang up with it. I know there were punts. That was my only hang up with the whole thing, that, call a better person to be in that position, not the midget receiver. And I'm just tired of midget receivers on high pointing balls. I just don't, it doesn't pay off. Think about it over the 4 years, it happens a couple of times, but it's just, you're playing a low percentage game is my point. On that.
Yeah, I guess when you send Waddle out there, you're seeing if he can outrun a DB. But in those cases, the safety was over the top. So it's not like when he was burning Maxwell Hairston for the touchdown down the sideline, which was beautiful the way that was run. So, no, I get your point.
Yeah, I just wish he would have, let's call a better player in that position so that way the quarterback has a chance. But in that play, you just don't have a chance if you're gonna send the midget and go deep. Overall, dude, how about Jordan Brooks?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a stud. This is what you sign up for with them. Before he came here, all I kind of knew was the sheer numbers on a stat sheet was just okay. Well, he's putting up like 160 tackles. Well, I think he had 1 year where it's like crazy, just numbers in the triple digits when the Dolphins were having like Jerome Baker like barely get to triple digits and things like that. So you knew the volume of what he could do, but then what I've come to learn is just his intensity and the leader that he is too for this defense. So now he's taken over as the guy who gets the team hyped up, everyone around him pregame when they have one wave of players come out for warmups and then the second wave comes out and then there's like a time when all players are on the field at the same time. And he's the one that it was Tyreek Hill earlier this season. It was Calais Campbell last year that hypes up the whole team. So he's taken that upon himself. And when he has a chance to punch the ball out, rip it out, he does that. So Dolphins were able to get that on Josh Allen. And then another one, James Cook, forced that fumble couple of key recoveries when they were moving the ball, and then red zone turnover of Josh Allen throwing what was a pretty bad interception, but Fatu Melifonwu was opportunistic there. So 3 takeaways, and those were more impactful takeaways than the 2 that the Dolphins had, which, like we've talked about, were kind of essentially just punts on 3rd and long with long interceptions. So the net yardage wasn't that significant. For the Bills, those fumbles, they were driving, they were trying to gain momentum. Allen had just picked up a 3rd and 1 on a sneak and maybe got a little greedy. I think the cameras caught him saying, I should have just gone down. And then, of course, he throws a pass into the end zone that's picked off. So those were huge turnovers in the scheme of the game.
I explained this. As much as I don't like the decision by Tua to throw those deep balls that end up becoming punts, and I want McDaniel to scheme a better player for that, so that play at least may have a chance. Okay, fine. And so, you have some people, especially the Tua haters, they kind of use that as a crutch on him, which really it's not today. You can't really use that. But if you think about it, today's a great example why the Buffalo Bills never won a Super Bowl. And the reason why nobody ever wins a Super Bowl when you count on one guy. And you put the weight of the world on Josh Allen. His 2 mistakes are way more crippling, and the reasons why they lost than why Tua made his 2 throws that were, you can say, questionable and, whatever, but they really didn't hurt the team. Whereas Josh Allen's 2 mistakes absolutely crippled the team.
Absolutely, yeah, huge in the flow of the game. The game changes immensely if they're able to score, capitalize on that drive going down. They got to the 5-yard line, and then they come up empty, and then they're picking up some momentum, and he squanders it all the way. Kind of getting greedy and having the ball ripped out as he is vying for more yardage. So that kind of reminded me of like Josh Allen, if we had seen maybe a couple of years back. I felt like he was getting to another spot where he was being more cautious with the football, but that was always what you pointed to with him. Like the big criticism of him is, yeah, he can make all these phenomenal plays, but then you would have moments like that where it's just mind-boggling turnovers, and that surfaced again today in a big way.
By the way, when the tight end made the catch, that was a bad pass. The tight end had to come back and
oh yeah,
it was a bad pass. There was a couple plays that they were complete, but they weren't. If you look at the ball placement, it's another one where he threw it on the floor to another guy off on the flats. His erratic nature still rears its ugly head when every once in a while with his throws. He just has some moments that are absolutely amazing when he can scramble around and find guys. But the key today is that the Dolphins shut down their wide receivers. Their wide receivers were not the factor in this game. And that's a problem. That was a problem for the Bills. That's why they had to start going to the tight ends, and then the tight end got injured.
Yeah, that was huge because I figured Dalton Kincaid would have a huge game. Even in our prop bets that we publish, Sun Sentinel, I took like a higher reception total for him as my long shot pick. Like he would hit like 6+ receptions, which would be high, of course. And then he didn't make it. As I thought I was going to be in a good spot when the Bills were behind and would have to throw in the second half, and then he tweaks his hamstring. But Jackson Hawes ends up catching a touchdown, and we know they have Dawson Knox there too, and we know the Dolphins don't cover the tight ends well, so you figured that a little bit. But shout out then to Juju Brents, because he steps in, and with Rasul Douglas hurt, which Rasul has been very valuable, very reliable on one side, Juju Brents comes in as the guy kind of unexpected. The talk was between Ethan Bonner and Jason Marshall, and now we see that was just a smokescreen that was put out there by Anthony Weaver because he was trying to hide the player who it was actually going to be, which was Brents. And great game for him. And then you saw how much it hurt them once he was out of the game. Yeah, then Ethan Bonner goes in, and Allen is attacking him with Keon Coleman, and that leads to a touchdown. And then he tries to attack Jason Marshall too, and then Marshall.
I think the Great White Wonder, I think his run is over this week, just like Tanner Connor. I think I can see the Great White Wonder getting cut and sent to the practice squad if he clears waivers and all that.
First Connor and then Bonner.
Yeah. Connor and Bonner. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we're getting into Christmas. So on Donner, on Dixon, on Prancer, on Pritzer, and Lister and all that. Yeah, but why not? They can
Well done. Well done.
They can join the reindeers and just absolutely take off, man. No, but it was a lot of fun today. All right, what do you got? What do you got on our injuries, by the way? Anything on the injury front?
Ooh, not much in terms of injuries. Yeah, it didn't catch up on too much of that. I never even saw if because I was going to look this up. Did they ever announce? I think Brent's ended up going back into the game, right? I believe he.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, toward the end.
Yes, he did.
So I guess he's all right. Yeah,
but it was sporadic. It wasn't like permanent. Like they moved him in back out. Maybe I don't know if he's still 100. Like maybe he tried to play and it was like, and then they kept him out. Towards the end, you didn't need him anymore.
Yeah. I don't think they announced an injury because they didn't have to if he was going back in, if he was cleared to play. So, and then that was just a question we never got to, Mike McDaniel, with the so much else going on around over the this win. So, probably find out more.
I thought Julian Hill could come back this week. Does it look like maybe next week in Madrid?
Yeah, I got to figure he's close. He's got to be close. It came in questionable. Yeah, you really thought it would be him, especially when you saw the tight end moves going on. They ran with just the two tight ends, but Daniel Brunskill. He's now factoring. He's taking away tight end snaps. Bringing a blocker as a jumbo package extra offensive lineman. So that factors in. He's kind of like he gives you 8 offensive linemen, but the third tight end as well when you have him in the mix. So I guess they felt they didn't need to rush Julian Hill. So it's funny because this Brunskill thing started because Julian Hill was out and you wanted another good blocker, and then you go jumbo, and then now all of a sudden you have something that you could keep rolling out there regardless, even when he does come back. So yeah, he didn't get to go. And Rasul Douglas, I guess that'll be monitored. He was, doubtful coming into this. Chop Robinson with another week in concussion protocol, especially since they didn't rule him out until Saturday. I would imagine.
If he flies, he plays. Yeah. If he flies, he plays. Because you're not going to make him take that flight if he's not playing.
I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a good sign. And I think you send him over there, assuming he's cleared to do so. I mean, Tua had his concussions and was able to fly right after the Seattle game when the last year when they had that. So I think that was a long flight in its own right. Long flight going the other way. So I can totally see it.
When do you leave?
I go tomorrow, connecting in JFK, and then it is. Yeah, and then an evening flight to then land Tuesday morning in Madrid.
Wow, I leave Tuesday, land Monday morning at 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah, you're going. Yeah, that's right.
It's the only trip I planned. I'm going Tuesday to Tuesday.
So, Tuesday to Tuesday. Excellent, yeah.
I'm going. I'm taking the wife too, so obviously I'm not going to go to Madrid and not take the wife, bro. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I got to go have fun. I don't even take any days off in this damn thing. I work all the damn time, so I definitely deserve this.
We'll do it. We'll do the Welt Rheaume report over there in person then.
Damn right. Right.
Yeah.
So we'll get that done. All right, my brother. What do you got going on this Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, wrapping up this game coverage, and then I'll write about how it was the guys the Dolphins didn't trade that made big plays in this one. Jalen Waddle, of course, Devon Achane finishing it off. So some building blocks there surfacing as the Dolphins do end up snapping this losing streak against the Bills.
Let's hope we get this kind of football in Madrid. That'll be a lot of fun. Follow him on Twitter at David Fuornes _. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up in Madrid.
Yes, sir.
You got it. There you go. And, of course, Welt Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Folks, listen, save the number because it doesn't matter if it's hurricane season or not. And I know it's hurricane season till the end of November, but rain showers happen, torrential downpours. It creates all kinds of problems. You see any brown spots on your roof, never call the insurance company. You call Welt Rheaume first. They send their adjusters, and then they assess the real damage for you. And then they call the insurance company on your behalf, and you never have to deal with them. Isn't that a beautiful thing? No headaches for you. They do it all for you. All you do is pick up a check at their Hollywood offices. And we've had listeners that have called them on the West Coast, on the East Coast here of Florida, up on the Gold Coast, up in Central Florida. We've had listeners all throughout Florida reach out to Welt Rheaume. So if you have any of these issues you're dealing with, before you call that insurance company, never do that. Pick up the phone and call Welt Rheaume. They can help you out. 954-966-4646.